standing to the side of the front door. No one else was in sight. To dispel a scolding from her parents, I breathlessly told them, "There's a Carmelite monastery up the hill. I've been there the whole time." For a moment they were silent. Then Dad said, "We've already missed our train, but there should be another one along any minute." Very understanding father, waiting outside the church for 2 hours for his daughter, who obviously has a contemplative vocation. She goes back up to Mount Whitney, and she was a natural-born astronomer, just absolutely loved looking up at the stars. The only way I could account for my enormous love of the stars was my conviction that I loved them with God's same love, loved them no less than He did. This was the only possible explanation of why I had always loved not only the stars, but the sea so much, and the mountains, the woods, the clouds, the animals. It wasn't my love at all, but God's own love and His great gift to me. My goal on the mountain was to strengthen my love of God, that it would fortify me against the onslaught of trivialities that made up my life down the mountain. I wanted this love and God's presence to always be as strong as it was on the mountain, because I knew from past experience how quickly this could ebb away when I got caught up in life's petty affairs. Though I had great determination in this matter, I begged God to help me, so I might always have His strong love and presence ever before me. So she had kind of a Franciscan spirituality with a tremendous love of nature. And another thing about her personality is, I never got above a C in conduct in school, and got a D at least once. Although the sisters labeled me the instigator, this really wasn't true. I was very careful never to start anything and never to finish it. But in between, of course, I certainly played my role in the fracas. I think she learned from her interior power, remember, if I don't take any of this seriously, why should you? She applies to Flint Ridge boarding school. I think every girl who currently attends Flint Ridge boarding school east of LA should definitely read this chapter. She had to apply, they had to review her grades and transcripts. I was worried because when they got my school transcripts with this D+ average, 2 red E's, those maybe are like F's, and a C or D in conduct, they had good reason not to take me. No use ruining their good academic reputation on someone like me. My only redeeming grade was in religion, which for my 12 years in school were straight A's. This didn't mean I actually studied or even liked these classes, which were the most boring. It simply meant I already knew my religion and didn't have to study it. What I learned at home from Dad, my own reading, and above all from practice, was beyond any religion I could have learned in school. For me, school religion was just so much watered down repetition. She says parents should never rely on religious education for the religious formation of their children. So she goes to a party. It's like a graduation party, and there's a Jesuit priest in the kitchen being chaperone, and of course she strikes up conversation with him. And when she comes back out to the dance floor, some shenanigans are going on where some of the boys are being dared to kiss some of the girls, and they say, let's see who can kiss Bernadette. So she didn't want to cause a fuss, she didn't want to ruin the party. She decides to try to sneak out the window. So she's climbing out the window, and someone in the front says, "There she is, go get her." I was not a sprinter, but I gave it everything I had, all the time asking God to help me. After a block or more, the boys gave up, but I kept running, changing directions at each corner to be sure I couldn't be found. A block or so after I stopped running, I experienced not just the familiar leap, but an explosion that knocked me off balance and left me sprawled on someone's front lawn. I may never know how it actually worked or what exactly happened. I only know this much. The power within seemed to burst out of me and stand before me as a blinding light. The wordless knowledge it conveyed went something like this, using my own words. I am your true life. You belong only to me. I will have you. This was no loving encounter. On the contrary, this power meant business. It was definitive, almost scolding. As the brilliant light before me, the inner power had clearly identified itself as God. And for a moment at least, my brain was too stunned to doubt it. The experience was both spectacular and sobering. I lay on the grass a while before getting up and starting home. By the time I reached home, however, I had already begun to question if what I had experienced, seen, was really God or not. But here now, for the first time, the power had momentarily identified itself as God, the light. Its message had been for me to stop ignoring it and to focus on it as the true love of my life. I think I'm going to stop there, get some water, and I think it's enough for today. I hope you're enjoying hearing snippets of this autobiography, and have a great day. I won't see you next Saturday. I only look at this camera and I feel really stupid talking to this camera, but I think this book is so great, so inspiring to people at Flint Ridge, to people who are considering a contemplative vocation, to all discalced Carmelites, and to anyone who wants a deeper spiritual life, and to people who work with kids, because obviously kids can know God too. All right, bye-bye.